Imagine surviving a torpedo attack, floating in shark-infested waters for hours, then getting rescued, only to have your ship torpedoed again 2 days later. Then imagine this happening not twice, but 3 times in a single war. This is the true story of Poon Lim, a Chinese sailor whose 133 days alone at sea rewrote the survival record books forever. It's November 1942, and the British merchant ship Ben Lomond is crossing the Atlantic Ocean. Poon Lim works as a second steward on this vessel, responsible for serving officers their meals. He's just 25 years old, born in Henan, China, and like many young men of his era, he's caught in the deadly machinery of World War II. The Atlantic is a killing field, where German submarines hunt Allied ships like wolves stalking prey. On November 23rd, a German U-boat fires 2 torpedoes into the Ben Lomond. The ship doesn't stand a chance. Within 2 minutes, this massive vessel begins its final plunge into the cold Atlantic waters. Poon Lim is below deck when the explosion tears through the hull. He feels the ship shudder and knows immediately what's happening. He has seconds to react. He races topside as the ship lists violently. All around him, men are screaming, scrambling for lifeboats. The vessel is sinking so fast that most crew members don't make it off. Poon Lim grabs a life jacket and jumps into the freezing ocean. The Ben Lomond disappears beneath the waves in less than 5 minutes, creating a massive whirlpool that threatens to drag him down with it. He swims desperately away from the suction. When the ocean finally calms, Poon Lim floats alone. He can see debris scattered across the water, pieces of his former home drifting aimlessly. He spots a life raft about 20 yards away and swims toward it with every ounce of strength he has left. This 8-foot square wooden raft becomes his entire world. The raft contains basic emergency supplies. There are several tins of biscuits, a 10-gallon jug of water, some chocolate, a bag of sugar lumps, flares, and 2 smoke pots. There's also a flashlight and rope. Poon Lim takes inventory and realizes something terrifying. At best, these supplies might last him 30 days. He's floating in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with no land in sight. Of the 55 crew members aboard the Ben Lomond, Poon Lim is the only survivor. He doesn't know this yet. He spends the first days hoping for rescue, watching the horizon for ships or planes. He carefully ratios his supplies, allowing himself only 2 biscuits and a few sips of water each day. The sun burns his skin during the day. At night, the temperature drops, and he shivers uncontrollably. Days turn into weeks. Poon Lim realizes that rescue isn't coming soon. He needs to think differently if he wants to survive. He begins fashioning tools from the materials on his raft. He pulls a nail from the wood and shapes it into a fishhook, using the flashlight case as a hammer. He unravels rope to create fishing line. He uses biscuit crumbs as bait. His first catch is a small fish, barely a meal, but it's hope. It's proof he can feed himself. He eats the fish raw, forcing himself to swallow the slimy flesh. Over time, he becomes an expert fisherman. He learns which fish are safe to eat and which aren't. He discovers that he can catch seabirds by hiding under a wet blanket and grabbing them when they land on the raft. Water becomes his greatest challenge. Rain is unpredictable in the Atlantic. Poon Lim creates a canvas catch system to collect rainwater when storms pass overhead. But rain doesn't always come when he needs it. He discovers something remarkable. Fish contain water in their bodies. He learns to suck the moisture from fish spines and eyeballs. It's disgusting, but it keeps him alive. Weeks turn into months. Poon Lim's body transforms. His skin darkens and toughens from constant sun exposure. He loses weight rapidly, his muscles wasting away. But his mind stays sharp. He establishes routines to maintain his sanity. He exercises daily, swimming beside the raft to keep his muscles from completely atrophying. He counts days by carving notches in the wood. Twice, ships pass close enough that he can see them clearly. He lights his flares, waves frantically, screams until his throat is raw. But both times, the ships continue on without seeing him. The disappointment nearly breaks him. After the second ship passes, he considers giving up, letting himself slip into the ocean. But something inside him refuses to quit. He encounters sharks regularly. They circle his raft, bumping it from below. One particularly aggressive shark keeps returning, threatening to capsize him. Poon Lim fashions a weapon from materials on the raft. When the shark attacks again, he fights back and actually kills it. He hauls the shark partially onto the raft and cuts strips of meat from its body. Shark meat sustains him for days. Storms batter his raft repeatedly. Waves toss him around like a toy. Several times, he's thrown into the water and must climb back aboard. Each storm tests his will to survive. The isolation becomes almost unbearable. He talks to himself constantly, maintaining conversations to remember the sound of human voices. Day 100 passes. Then, day 110. Poon Lim has now been alone at sea longer than most people thought possible. His original supplies are long gone. He survives entirely on what he can catch or collect. His fishing skills have become extraordinary. He's learned to catch fish with his bare hands, moving so slowly in the water that they swim within reach. On April 5, 1943, after 133 days adrift, a Brazilian fishing boat spots something strange floating in the Atlantic. The fishermen approach cautiously, unsure what they're seeing. When they get close enough, they discover a skeletal man lying on a wooden raft. They can barely believe he's alive. Poon Lim has drifted over 200 miles from where the Benlamond sank. The Brazilian fishermen pull him aboard their boat. He can barely walk. His legs haven't supported his weight in months. But remarkably, he's in relatively good health, considering his ordeal. He's lost significant weight, but has no major illnesses or infections. After 3 weeks recovering in a Brazilian hospital, Poon Lim can walk again. The British consul arranges his transport back to Britain. When his story becomes public, he's celebrated as a hero. King George VI awards him the British Empire Medal. The British Navy incorporates his survival techniques into their training manuals. Poon Lim's record of 133 days surviving alone on a life raft has never been broken. When told about this record years later, his response was simple and profound. He said he hoped no one would ever have to break it. His impossible survival wasn't about glory or recognition. It was about the unbreakable human will to live, one day at a time, even when hope seems lost forever.